What is God like? Well, he tells you. Exodus 34, verse 6, he gives 5 characteristics. Number 4 is steadfast love. Now, in English, that's 2 words, but it's only 1 word in Hebrew because this Hebrew word, it's so thick. It's almost impossible to translate. I'm going to say it for you, and then I'm going to invite you to say it with me because it's so fun. You got to do the chesed. Okay, say it with me. Chesed. That word is used more than any other word to describe the nature of God. 248 times in the Old Testament. It's translated by 2 words because it's not just love, it's a covenant love, not just an affection. It's a love that describes marriage. It's a love that would describe 2 like nations that have an alliance together. It's a love that would describe business partners or brothers. Now, it's also translated as goodness and kindness because it's not an emotion, it's an action. So these words of goodness and kindness talk about what you do if you have this kind of love. Okay, quiz question. What Old Testament book, over 240 times this word is used, what Old Testament book has half of all the uses of this word? It is Psalms. It's interesting to me because this is not a word that can be captured with words. It has to be shown in actions. So why would a book all about worship, all about expression of words, be the book that talks about this steadfast love of God? Because it's not describing your actions, but it's describing the actions of God to his people. And it requires a poetic creativity to expand the borders of what God's love actually looks like in practice for his people. And the Old Testament Greek translation is called the Septuagint. They took the Old Testament Hebrew, translated into Greek, which was kind of the common language a couple hundred years before Jesus. When they translated it into Greek, the Hebrew word chesed was most regularly translated with the Greek word eleos, which means mercy. Oh, mercy. God is not just loving you with his heart, but he's showing mercy to his people. When you come to the New Testament, the word used for chesed is agape. Now, you may have heard of the different kinds of love in the Greek language. It may be a sexual love and a family love and a parental love, friendship love. This word, it says, is the divine love. It is, I love you in spite of, not because of. I love you in spite of. However, now that is what it means. However, it didn't mean that until John used it that way to describe Jesus. Why? Because we had never seen that kind of love before. I want you to notice the ending of Exodus 34:7. This is kind of our key verse. It says, maintaining love to thousands and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin, yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children and their children for the sins of the parents to the 3rd and 4th generation. What's the point? Love, this loyal love, this covenant love, it is not antithetical to judgment. Some say, I can't believe in a God that would send people to hell. Really? I can't believe in a God who wouldn't. Why? Because God isn't just perfect in his love. God is perfect in his justice. Your love is only as great as your wrath against the enemies of the object of your love. Let me say that again. Your love is only as great as your wrath against the enemies of your love. John 3:16, it's a core verse. It talks about the love of God, right? You know what follows John 3:16? These words, whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already because they have not believed in the name of God's one and only Son. Love isn't just a feeling. It is an action that God demonstrated his love in his Son, Jesus Christ. It behooves us to show loyalty back to him. That's really what it means to have faith. And that is something worth talking about.